Yeah, I mean, it's, in the championship races, I mean, ours was close, and and it was a tight battle, but I never looked at that as far as from my standpoint and as a driver too much. I always just kind of tried to keep it on a race-to-race basis, and if I do my job today in this event, then we go on to the next one and do our job again in the next event. And the only time that when it was really tight battle like that would come into play is maybe you might do something a little bit different as far as taking a risk from time to time, whether you needed to or whether you didn't need to, depending on where your competitor was. So I mean, I don't remember a lot of detail about the championship itself, but as far as just thinking about it, that's kind of the way I always tried to approach it. Let's go out and try to win the race first, and if we can do that, the rest of it takes its own course. But if we can't, then we got to try to salvage the best we can make of that day and get the most points possible. And if you're in a head-to-head battle and a tight battle, then it's a matter of, okay, you might at some point start backing off. Well, maybe you don't need to worry about winning the race. Let's keep an eye on the competitor. Make sure we're just ahead of him, depending on what the point spread is. If it's a point or two, split like that, then all you got to do is finish ahead of him. So you're almost racing your competitor rather than the race itself. So those are just all different scenarios, and it depends on on which scenario it is as to how you run it. So you've got to be very flexible. And but earlier in the season, it's, hey, let's go out and win the races. That generates maximum points, and if we do that, the rest of it will happen. But when it starts getting down to the end like that, and it becomes a shootout, then more things come into play that you have to think about. In '79, when we started out, being as new as we were and everything else, with Team Penske, with IndyCar period, and especially at Indianapolis, it was a great day for us. I mean, you can't even dream of winning Indy your second time to run it. And Bobby Unser, being the senior player on the team, and I was taking a lot of his lead, even though he didn't know it a lot of the time. But he was having a good day, and he was running very strong. And when it started getting down to the end, we were running second to him, and I felt like we had enough to get him at some point when it was time. But I always kind of ran what we needed for the time, and not, if we don't need to do it right now, let's don't. And but so we were just kind of biding our time, waiting to the end to have the shootout. And as it turned out, about the time we started really running hard with Bobby, he had a gearbox problem and ended up dropping back a little bit, and that put us up front and went on to win the race. So, to be able to win the race early in the season like that and get the points championship or the points lead or wherever we were at that time, it was a good start toward the championship. And plus, besides just winning Indy, the Super Bowl period, the momentum that it helps throughout the rest of the year toward that points championship was great. To win a championship is one thing, period. It takes a whole season and a lot of things to come together, to win a championship. But to win, 79, 81, and 82, for me, the great thing about that is shows the depth of the team. It shows consistency. First of all, you got to be consistent to win a championship, and that's what we always tried to work on. You have to have, the depth of the team, the guys giving you the right tools day in and day out to get the job done. It shows the strength of the team. And then to be able to turn around and win the three of them like that in that time frame, it just shows how strong the operation was throughout. To give me that equipment, us do our job and keep it off the fence, hopefully, and the team doing the great job they did and giving me the tools we needed to get the job done. That depth is really, I think, to me, is a trademark of Team Penske.